Welcome back to Happy Chappy. So this is just my point of view. You can roll with it and put it into your life, or you don't have to. It's your choice. But don't think that I'm saying that it's a must. If you're not ready for it, then that will be obvious that you don't want to listen. So don't watch the video. But what I found in life, um, I've always been one to enjoy seeing someone that move forward, move up in their life and where they're at. So any kind of advancement in who they are is an achievement for them, but it's also an achievement for me. They're not going to see that unless you're highly open minded and aware of everything. Then you might see it. But my objective is to see them from when I met them to when I leave to be better off in who they are. It's not always the case, but it's my objective. And in that, what I find is that people aren't always willing to accept a helping hand. Maybe physically, when they're doing something, if you had them in that, um, but they will still take the whole praise. And that's not something that bothers me. As I say, my objective is to move them from where they're at to a better place within themselves. And if that brings better on the outside, then so be, which it normally does. And what I find with people, they find it hard to accept when somebody is trying to help them. When somebody's speaking of something and you're trying to explain to them something that could help them, they'd be inclined to decline your words, that it's not needed. And in some cases, they can become irritated and feel that you're imposing where you shouldn't impose. But if you're in their life and you're only wanting to help and just showing them another path, there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. And so what I found is people will push you away from them situations and try to make you look like you shouldn't be interfering. But they will have you there for everything else that they want to do. But you can't order and control people. And if you're going to use somebody for something, you have to accept them for who they are. Now, if somebody's bringing you something to the table, why can people not listen? Why do people want to deflect it onto that person's being a type of a character that is not needed? While you're being a character that's not accepting what we're meant to accept, one another and our differences. And so if we accepted one another and our differences, we might learn something about another that could be beneficial to who we are. And so if that other person sees something that's within us or within our field of what we do that we don't see and brings it to our table, should we not be accepting to listen to another? But most of the time we don't. Most of the time we want to think of it in the way I've seen in life and how it's come across to me is that it's looked at as in you're interfering. Well, maybe so. And what's wrong with that? You're not trying to bring the people down, you're trying to lift them up. It needs interference. If it's not moving anywhere, it needs something to come in and interfere with it to get it fluctuating in a way that it's not, instead of just moving and moving along in the same path, that is not changing the person or the thing that they do to better who they are. So it needs interruption to lift it up. And so you could understand if it was something negative. But when you bring something to the table to a person and they're deflecting it, they're making it negative. And so what they're doing is bringing their own flow downwards by something that is positive instead of listening and lifting up to that positive. And so I find that people are attacking themselves, where they feel that, well, if that was to happen or if it would work out that way, I'd know this. So they feel like they're being attacked. Their intelligence is being attacked. But it's not. That's only how you're made to think through the whole matrix that you see. And so you start feeling that you're attacked because somebody else brings something to the table that could make a change for the better in your situation. And why do you not know this? You start questioning yourself, and who are you to be questioned when you've brought everything to the table that has brought you to this level? But no one's questioning that. Only you. And because you question it because somebody else brings something more to the table to lift you up more, you question yourself to bring yourself down. And so if we could listen to others and stop looking at it as an attack, we could see we would benefit from each other so much more. You see, it's not about this new person coming in having more intelligence than anybody that's already brought everything to the table. Because this person hasn't seen everything that has brought this person to the table. And they're not judging that person for how far they've come or went. And if they did look at it, they would probably say, well, you've come a lot. You've done so well for yourself. Maybe you add this here, you could even do more better than what you are doing. Because they've seen what work you've put into it. They want to see you do even better because they see that you've run at a standstill. Because it's like you've burnt out in the whole work that you've done to get there. And so somebody new may come in and give you a wee pointer or two and guide you into something bigger and better. Instead of just lying in what you've created, creating stress, stagnant energy. And so we must accept other people's views. As you see, from a different place of space in that space and who they are, they see what we don't see in our own space because they have a different view of consciousness from who they are. And so they're able to see something that we can't see. And so we must accept that from another and appreciate it from another brother or sister so we can advance in who we are instead of being stagnant in what we've created, in the greatness of what we've created. But it comes to an end. Everything comes to an end and becomes a change. So we were advancing in our life and we came to an end in that advancement. And so that end becomes stagnant. And so it's a change. It's a transformation of growth into stillness. And for that stillness to move again, we must accept what is incoming in another. And what we intend to do is neglect what is coming in and be hurt or pulled away from what they were saying, that it drags down what we were even doing, instead of lifting us up, because it all comes down to our own choices and our own accountability of our actions, of what's coming in and what's going out. And if we're blocking everything off, then it's not going to go anywhere. Anyway, it's only my experience of life and what I've seen in people and accepting one another's help. When somebody says something and that you think it's offensive, are they attacking you? Or are they telling you something that could be helpful? And are you attacking yourself? And they're actually trying to help you. It may be something to look at in life if you think that someone, maybe your friend, family member, is there and to see you doing something in your life and they add something to it in what they say, and you feel that it's an attack on you. Before you answer back to them, answer to yourself and how you're feeling. Is it an attack or are they trying to help you? What did they say? Is that helpful to what you're doing? Or is it an attack on what you've done? Are they saying that you haven't done enough? Or are they saying this could help even bring you up higher than what you are? Maybe something that you might want to look at. This Happy Chat Back. Love and peace.